Listen, man, it's the same all over the country of Canada. I have not had a family doctor since I was 8 years old, and I'm 29. I have not been tested for anything that one would be tested for from 8 years old all the way up until 29 years old. And this is why. Every single walk in clinic, every single hospital, every single place that leads me on a wild goose chase telling me that I need to do this and this and this to get on a list to have a doctor, which is a 3 to 5 year wait list. Okay, and I've been all over BC, Kamloops, Vernon, Penticton, Nanaimo, Victoria, Courtenay. Okay, I've been all over from the mainland to the island. And let me just show you something. The level of corruption in the medical system in BC is overwhelming. They will let you die out here. I had an infection for months, a wisdom tooth, couldn't get a dentist, another 2 year wait list. I am not covered, I don't have benefits, so I have to wait on a waiting list that ends up never happening. And then I literally have to move to a different province in hopes to seek medical attention. Okay? This is a serious problem. And we're talking about Canada. Okay, so I'm going to show you some of the reviews of these places just to even just give you an idea of what's going on here. And these are not just bitter, angry, pissed off people. I'm looking at the reviews because I can relate. Like, I have been treated poorly by the hospitals out here all over Canada, even in Ontario. It's psychotic. It's a nightmare. It makes me think that there's absolutely no help that one can seek. I've witnessed people go to the hospital that were living at the homeless shelter and they got treated like they were a drug addict and they were complaining of pain or whatever they were in their stomach or something wrong with them. And I watched that person in a week end up passing away and never coming back to that homeless shelter. So they sent him back from the hospital saying there's nothing wrong with you. And a week later, the guy died. I've witnessed this probably maybe 4 or 5 times in my life. And it was quite apparent to me that this is a real phenomenon. This is a real thing that needs to be exposed. It needs to be talked about. And our medical system needs to be held accountable because they are literally causing death. They are misdiagnosing because they do not want to do their job. They're lazy. They get paid well. And they got used to comfortability. They got used to being comfortable to the point of where, you know, they're very biased too. A lot of them assume that, like, you didn't live a healthy lifestyle, so why should I help you? It's your own fault for not living healthy. It's a stigma as well. So anyways, let's check out some of these. I've been to this one, the Cook Street one, and it was terrible. Um, I'm not going to get into detail because I don't want to go on a huge rant about all this stuff, but I just want to show you, like, for example, I've made 3 virtual appointments so far. First one, the doctor was about 10 minutes late, which was fine. There were some technical issues, but we were able to connect. However, I went to the pharmacy right next to the clinic where my prescription was supposed to be sent, and the pharmacist said nothing was sent there for me. I was also given a prescription, and they told me to go to that, and I wasn't covered, and they said I would be covered. So, I've almost died so many times, because the medical system has failed me, and I had to learn how to heal myself and take care of myself, and medicate myself, because they were giving me misdiagnosis and just sending me off saying, oh, it's all in your head, it's just stress. Blah, 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 right? The typical excuse that a doctor will make to, get out of his responsibility as a doctor. I don't know why they have a tendency of just trying to avoid, but they do. It's a well-known thing. Like, if I'm pretty sure everybody's experienced it by now. Anyways, I've noticed a lot of rude. Like, every single time I go to a walk-in clinic, they're extremely rude, extremely rude. Um, Hospital, same thing. Like, there's no help. Like, you try to get help, there is no help. Like, I have extensive health issues now and complications and underlying issues in my health because I have been seeking out medical attention for 10 years and I have not gotten it. 10 plus years. Okay, so I gave up on the medical system. It hurt me. It was exhausting trying to seek out help, you know, and it literally it had a negative effect on my mental health and obviously my physical health because I'm stressing out because I can't receive help, medical attention, and I've cried many tears because of that. I have broken down and bawled my eyes out because I realize that we live in a world, even in Canada, where we cannot seek medical attention and the system will leave us to die. I had an infection for 3 months and couldn't get penicillin from the hospital. They'd refused me penicillin and I threatened them legally and then they gave it to me. But I would have walked away from that hospital with no, penicillin to help my infection, which was in my mouth, which was a wisdom tooth. And I couldn't get a dentist for a very long period of time. So were you gonna just let me die? You know what I mean? And they're like, sorry, it's not our problem. Like, I'm like, it is your problem. Legally in this country, if you identify an infection, you're obligated to give me penicillin in this country. And even when I moved to BC, they started giving me a medical bill, $150 in the month, $150 a month, every month in the mail. And I wasn't even using medical services. It's just an automatic, mandatory, standard thing that as soon as you become a BC resident, you have to pay $150 a month just to live in BC medically. Even if you don't use the hospital, even if you don't use any services or nothing, you still have to pay that mandatory. First of all, I fell under the tax bracket of where they could charge me that insurance. So I'm under the tax bracket where they can't even charge me. Even H&R Block, they do my taxes. They know this, and they even advocated for me, and they still denied. They rejected. They said they're going to continue to charge me, even though they've just been told by H&R Block that I fall under the Brax bracket. The tax bracket. Where they can't legally charge me that. And they still do anyways, and they said, we're going to do it anyways. Like, they literally just said, yeah, so what? What are you going to do? We're going to keep charging them. Too bad. It's just pure corruption. It's extortion. And the system needs to be held accountable. And, nobody is talking about it because they're in too much pain and they're sick, and it's causing them too much anxiety to even deal with this. It's very defeating. Anyways, partner and I waited for 30 minutes for a scheduled appointment, not to mention having to deal with a rude receptionist. I've experienced that every single time. I mean, 30 minutes is nothing. I'm used to waiting like 3 hours, so tried to go here dozens of times over the years. Staff incredibly rude, often not open during posted hours. Yeah, I've experienced that. And wait times are horrible. Yeah, don't expect to walk into this walk-in and receive treatment. That's a fact. These people are not lying. Some of these positive, they're very generic. Some of these 5-star ratings, it almost seems like some of the doctors themselves are asking or paying people to give them 5-star reviews in order to make their business look good. But in reality, you really need to pay attention to the humanly ones that don't seem very generic, that somebody just copy pasted. You know what I mean? You can tell, it seems when you're reading them and then you're reading the negative ones, you can kind of tell that there's a conflict of interest, and somebody is obviously involved in the positive reviews, trying to make themselves look good or make their coworkers look good or their friends that work there look good. It's corruption. Is this place ever open? Every time I go by there, it's closed. Every time I phone, they're closed. There's no help. I read some of these positive ones, like I said, and I don't relate from my personal experience. And again, they seem very generic. They seem like somebody that works there set that up. And that seems to be across the board. So anyways, I'm absolutely disgusted in the way I was just treated. Yep. All my life, been treated poorly by I went to every single walk-in clinic in the city just to see if it was different. I needed help and I couldn't get it. I just called to ask how busy the clinic was today, and the lady on the phone said they were booked for the day. When I asked how that can be, because they don't take appointments, she said, I'm the doctor and I have to go, and slammed the phone down. I am beside myself right now. How a medical professional can treat someone so poorly is beyond me. I don't know who she was, but she has to be the most inconsiderate person to just treat someone so rudely. This is a very frequent, common thing on a daily basis. This is what I've continuously experienced all over the country. So for people that think they're going to come to Canada for medical help, you're going to really hurt real bad when you get here and realize that it's probably almost the same as the States. Like, look, I'll do another one, like the Quadra. Let's try this one. 134 reviews. Right away, a 1-star. Unfortunately, this is my designated post office pickup, and there's always delays and drama. Expect to wait at least 30 minutes for the simplest of things. I only use this place for the post office. The older Indian lady there is abrupt and cold. She does post office and front counter. Okay, what's going on here? Overdose my brother on his meds. Lose prescriptions all the time. Refuse to fill prescriptions. The worst service I have ever received. I would give this place no stars if I could. All on account of the post office portion. Okay, well, we're looking for the clinic. Bad service, not professional, untrained pharmacist, not to inform patient. They should close the pharmacy. Anyways, I don't know if this is the right thing. Does it seem to be a walk-in clinic? But it does, but it doesn't. Oak Bay Medical Clinic. Let's try this. Right away, 1-star. First one. If you need a couple minutes to go to a room where you... Mental health, I don't even know what that person... One receptionist there has acted exceptionally rudely toward me on multiple visits. I read in other comments that she treats others similarly. It's just, I don't know why it's like that. Like, and again, like I said, I'm really paying attention to these 5-star ratings, and there's a few things that run past my mind. One, people that have a lot of money. Of course, they're going to give 5 stars because they get 5-star treatment if they're somebody of some stature or status. I've experienced it, and I've also talked to people that are would be considered a higher status than me, somebody that's been homeless before, and not, me being a sober person, treated like I'm there to try to take advantage, like I'm trying to get drugs, and I don't even do drugs. Like, so it's their go-to to try to, to get out of their responsibility of taking care of people, straight up. They just try to they just make things up. They just, you're, whatever. It's psychotic. Once you go through it yourself, and it happens to you, it'll hurt you so bad, because then you realize, where do I get help? How do I get help? I'm going to die. The doctors were great, but one receptionist was comically rude. I was in a great mood, and it gave me a chuckle, but some patients perhaps aren't as laid back as me. Staff was very rude. Like, people don't just make this stuff up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they don't just... Nobody has time for this. It's the reason why you would act out on this way is from a bad experience, from an injustice that you experience. If you were supposed to have Alzheimer's, go somewhere else. My wife was not diagnosed until after it was too late. Exactly. They're waiting. They try to avoid diagnosing. They try to avoid paperwork. They try and avoid taking someone on. And people are dying as a result of it. People are being misdiagnosed. They're being underlooked. They're being sent home, and then they're dying a week later. And this is all over Canada. I've been watching it. I'm 29 years old. I've been watching this happen all of my entire life. Nobody can tell me that it's just a coincidence or just a few times or blah, blah, blah. I mean, this is a phenomenon. This is a very well-known thing that's being experienced by many, many people. As you can see, 1-star, 2-star, 1-star. You know what I mean? Awful clinic. Very rude. 6 likes, 5 likes, now 6. But you can see the ones that are 5 stars don't have very many likes. It's because people cannot relate to them, because it's fabricated. These people got paid to leave 5-star reviews, or they're people within the, close to the circle of the clinic. Because you can tell by the 1 stars how realistic it is. And especially from my own experience, I know what the true reality is. Like, as you can see right here, 14, 15 likes. There's not more than one like on any of the 5-star things. And if there were, if they were true, then there would be likes. People would be agreeing. People would be relating. And that's not the case, okay? So, yeah. Okay. So anyways, this is every single, like, I've already went to, like, pretty much most of these clinics. And they all say the same thing. And, you know, it's a nightmare if you were to go to all these clinics and, um, you know, try and seek help, and you were to be treated like you were mentally ill. Like, if you have a serious problem, like you're having a health problem, you go there and tell them, and they'll literally say that it's all in your head. That is the go-to thing for doctors to just avoid responsibility. You know, it's really bad, you know, and this is why I have a lot of serious health problems now. Being a 29-year-old, and I still don't have a family doctor, and you know, I could die at any time because of some underlying complication, because I've been trying to seek help for a very long time for all these clinics and all these different things that say, oh yeah, you know, to apply for a doctor, and it's just gone on years and years and it doesn't change. It's the same thing in Ontario. It is a nightmare in this country, man. It really is. And you know, I basically have accepted that um, I might die from some type of a complication because of this. You know, there's nothing that I can do. I've tried, and people say, "Oh, don't give up, keep trying." Trust me, this is a 10-year process. Okay, this is 10 years of trying. This isn't me just trying for a week. Okay, this is 10 years of pain and agony and despair from going to hospitals and clinics begging for help, and they just laugh at me and they just turn me away and say that I have some type of mental illness, or I'm a drug addict, or something. Like, you know what I mean? It's literally psychotic. Imagine being a sober person going to the hospital for a health issue and them basically telling you that you're just trying to take advantage to get drugs. What would you do? Would you not freak out? Being a normal average citizen, a civilian, wouldn't you lose your mind? It would make you become mentally ill just to go through that process. Okay, it's defeating, and it's psychotic. It's like being a white male and then going there and them saying that you're a black male, and you're like, well, clearly I'm white. Oh, no, 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 you're no you're clearly you're a black male. You're like, but I'm white. Like, they just, it's fucking psychotic. It's literally like they're programmed to literally fuck with your head and just lie to you and just, you know, pass you away. So just, you know, turn you away. And then you go and die off in your little fucking hole wherever you go back to. But that's basically the reality here. And this is everywhere. All over the country. I've been all over the place. All over the country. All over the country. British Columbia, Ontario, Alberta, all over Canada. This is the way it is. You know, so just a heads up what's going on with the corruption within the medical system out here in Canada.